Hello everyone, my name is Leo with Super Tech. Alright, so today we're going to be working on a PlayStation 5. This is not the digital version, it's the optical, the disc version. Customer brought in to me today for the simple fact that he actually ended up purchasing this console himself. I believe he said it was OfferUp, and it was disclosed to him that the HDMI port itself was actually broken, and I did confirm that the HDMI port, it is broken, and it's actually HDMI port right there, as you can see. Let me go ahead and zoom in just a tad bit. Right there, it is confirmed that the HDMI port itself, it is definitely broken right there. So yeah, we're gonna be working on this PlayStation 5 today. We're gonna get this console going for the customer. Before we do begin, though, on this particular PlayStation 5 repair, I would like to say that if you like the type of content that I am offering on this channel, do me a favor, go ahead and hit the like button. If you like the content, of course. Also hit the subscribe button as well as the notification button. That way you get notified every single time I do upload a video. I am recording, of course, my progress of how I'm learning, how my business is growing, and the number of customers that I've got sending me their consoles for repair, whether it's customers from different states in the US or local customers. That being said, let's go ahead and proceed with this particular repair. I know you guys have probably already seen multiple PS5 consoles being tore down, so I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse the whole teardown of the PlayStation 5, and then I'll come back once I actually have the board on the table for us to go ahead and start replacing the HDMI port. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start the time lapse now. Alright, so I went ahead and put my gloves on. I don't know if you saw mid-video. I saw signs that this console has been roach infested. This console is not even a year old. I think it's probably just about a year old since it last came out. And this console, it is roach infested. I hope no roaches actually crawl out of this, honestly. All right, let's continue with this breakdown. Alrighty, so we've got the board down here at my desk now. We've done taking apart the actual console itself. We're down to the board. I will say that, and I don't know if I already mentioned this before, this console, even though it hasn't been, it's probably been, what, a year or so since it's been released, this console was completely infested with roaches, which is really disgusting. All right, so the HDMI port right here, we've already confirmed that the HDMI port itself is bad. So we're just going to start the process of basically getting it removed, getting it replaced. So we're going to go ahead and start the process of getting this one removed and replaced. Add some flux with some low melt solder, melt it down, remove it, and put in the new one. I do have the new port, which is right here. And as soon as we take this one off, we're going to put the new one on. Alrighty, that being said, let me go ahead and get my microscope ready, and let's start to get this HDMI port replaced. Alrighty, so we've got the port there right on the screen. We're going to go ahead and start adding some low melt solder to this. I do have to be somewhat careful. We do have a small, I believe this is either a resistor or a capacitor. I believe it's a capacitor. Let me zoom in exactly to, yeah, that's a capacitor. There we do have to be very careful when adding low melt solder to this, because we do not want to lose this component here. I don't have any spare PS5 boards that I can remove this off of, so we have to be very careful when removing this HDMI port from here to make sure that we do not lose this component right over here. So we are going to add some low melt solder right over here, low melt solder at the top of the legs, and then turn it around and add some more low melt solder at the bottom of the legs as well. All right, let's go ahead and start. So first things first, we're going to add some flux. That's the first thing we need so that low melt solder fuses with the solder that's currently on the board, which is leaded free. Alrighty, we've got our low melt solder. Oh, I forgot one of the most important tools, which is the fume extractor. All right, give me a second, y'all. I got somebody ringing the doorbell real quick. I'll be right back. Got a older couple that lives that are my neighbors, and anytime they have any questions regards any technical, like mobile devices, they tend to come to me and ask me questions. So the husband came and asked me a question that their phone apparently was not powering on. It was not on. He kept pressing the. He's got an old phone, and they kept pressing the power, not the power button, the digits. So he was telling me that the phone was dead, that was dying, so they charged it. Little did they know it actually died completely. So he thought that just by it being charged 100%, that it would just automatically work on its own without actually pressing the power button. So I told him, "Oh, you gotta turn it on in order for it to work. If you don't turn it on, it's not. You won't be able to dial from it." So showed him where the power button was at. Let's turn the board around. Alrighty, so we're on the other side of the board. We do also have to be very careful here as well. We do have a couple of components there. We've got this diode right there and another capacitor right there as well. You definitely do not want to lose those components. I do have diodes. I don't have extra capacitors unless I take them from possibly a PlayStation 4 board. Then yeah, then I would have them. Moving the fume extractor over, and let's go ahead and get these soaked with some low melt solder. Alrighty, so we've added the leaded solder, the low melt solder to this. I am going to clean this up a little bit real quick. Uh-oh. What did I just do? I guess I didn't let it finish. That's fine. That's fine. I didn't let it finish cooling up. I was trying to clean this up a little bit here. I'm going to add a tiny piece of not masking tape, but what is this tape called? Kapton tape. Alrighty, so this board is ready. I've added some Cat tape to the board so that we can go ahead and remove this HDMI port completely off of here. I am going to add just a tad bit of weight here so that the console does not move. Alright, so I'm going to put a tiny bit of weight towards the back. So when I'm putting on this, the back of the console does not move. Other than that, we are ready to perform extraction of this HDMI port. Let me go ahead and grab my handy dandy tweezers. Pretty thick tweezers I use to be able to hold and pull down on this HDMI port when needed. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start heating it up. The air I'm using 120% air and 770 Fahrenheit for this HDMI port. I don't care if the plastic part of the port melts because it's going to be replaced anyways. I do care about the components below it, so I'm heating it from the top instead. Alright, this is not working. So let me try something real quick. I'm going to suck up the current solder that's on there. Alrighty, trying this again. Alrighty, let's go ahead and clean the actual holes of the legs. That way we get it prepped to be able to put the port in. Awesome. Legs are cleaned. Let's go ahead and clean this up with some isopropyl alcohol, some IPA. APA I'm using, I did buy off of Amazon. It's 99.5% IPA. I think it's either 99.5 or 99.9, one of the two. We no longer need this Captom tape, so we're going to get it removed. Alrighty, let's turn the board around. Let's see what type of damage we did, if any. Alrighty, so we still have our components there. Awesome. Let's go ahead and clean the hose and the pads. Let's add some flux before we do that though. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and we're going to start with the hose. Alrighty. This console is ready for the new port. It is set up. Let's go ahead and remove the port off of the casing. And we're going to check to make sure that it actually fits in here. Yep, this port is definitely meant for this. Awesome. Definitely goes there. So let's go ahead and add some flux again, and then some leaded solder. I've got the flux on there. I got regular leaded solder, which I'm going to add to my tip. Now, as y'all remember, the right side of this port has that capacitor. So I'm not going to touch that capacitor area just yet. Right now, all I want is to make sure that... oh, man, come on. Make sure that this port stays in place before soldering. Ouch, I just burnt myself. Before soldering the legs. There you go. I'm going to hold the port down. I am pushing this port down to make sure these legs stay in place. I think I may have lost my solder. Let me get a little bit more solder. Alright, I got a few legs tied in. Let me turn the board around and put some solder to the legs. Alrighty, we got the legs there. Add some flux. And now let's get the leaded solder ready. We got the legs done. Let's go ahead and clean them up real quick. Alright, let's do the other end. Make sure we get the pins properly soldered. The other 4 pins. Alrighty, let's do the tug test just to make sure that these pins are actually good. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and also test to make sure that there's no bridges at all. So we're going to use our multimeter. And we're going to put our multimeter in diode mode, which we would hear that sound if we have any bridges at all. Alright, no bridges. This console is completely fixed. Took me longer than normal. Let me heat it up just a tad bit so I can get the remainder of that flux out of that port. Alrighty, other than that, this port is actually completely fixed. Let's go ahead and start putting the board together just enough to test. Alrighty, so I've got the console plugged in just enough to be able to test. I don't have a fan on just yet. Hopefully it doesn't overheat. It shouldn't overheat since it's got it has liquid thermal paste on there. Only thing I do not have plugged in over here, of course, like I said, is the fan. Everything else is plugged in. We're going to plug in the power cord, and then the HDMI. Alright, HDMI is plugged in. Let's go ahead and get this over to the screen it needs to be in. And we're going to turn it on now. Power button. It's on. I do see a blue light here. And let's see if we see this PS5 logo come up. I don't see it yet. Oh, I just saw something come up. There we go. PlayStation 5 is repaired. Other than that, yeah. All I need to do is just put it back together. We did test it. It did turn on. It did show image. Let's go ahead and turn it off, unplug it, and well, it's actually rebooting. Hold on. There we go, PlayStation logo. PS5 turned off improperly. Turned off properly before unplugging. Awesome, so we've got image. That's what we needed to see. Let's go ahead and turn it off, put the console back together the proper way, and then we'll test. Well, I can't test. I don't have a controller for it, but we'll turn it on and see the image on it as well. Alrighty, I'll be right back. For you, it'll be just a second. For me, it'll be a few minutes. Alrighty, the console is put back together. I also cleaned my desk as well. I had to clean it. I can't leave it dirty. I'm gonna go ahead and spray some isopropyl alcohol on this as well on the outside, because this is just having a console, and I know you guys can't really see it very well. At least for me, it's really dirty. Got like either coffee stains, or I'm not sure exactly what they are. There's just brown stuff all over this console. And me seeing this, it just it irks me seeing a console like this completely with either coffee stains, or yeah, I think it's coffee stains, or maybe a roach, roach infestation shit on it or something. I don't know. But the console itself, it is fixed. We're about to do our final test. All right, we're going to do our final test. We're going to plug the power cable in. HDMI cable in. Let's get over to the right screen. Power button. Power button's on. I do see a blue light right there. I'm sure you guys can see it as well. And let's see if we see a PlayStation logo, and we do. This console is fixed. I don't have a way of testing it since I don't have a PlayStation 5 controller. I honestly don't know if the older controls, which I don't have any right now either, actually function with the PS5. But other than that, what the customer brought the console here for, which is no display issue, console is fixed. Yeah. Other than that, thank you very much. Yeah, other than that, thank you very much for staying tuned and watching my video up to this point. I try to make it as educational and entertaining as I can possibly do it for you guys. If any of y'all actually have any questions for me, or just want to tell me that I'm doing something wrong or could improve on something that I'm doing, feel free to leave those comments in the section below, or you can also DM it as well. Now, if any of you guys actually need a console to be repaired as well, I am offering my services. I've been doing that, and I have been receiving packages already via mail, as well as, of course, local customers bringing their consoles in, just like this one, into my place of business, which currently, as of now, it is my home. And I don't mind providing my address so long as it's pertaining to me providing services for a console. Now, if it's just to ask questions, yeah, I don't take anyone in at all, as I stay pretty busy. I still have a full-time job and also doing console repairs. Now, if you are interested in getting your console repaired, I will leave the link to my website down in the description below, which will have the ability for you to be able to register to my ticketing system. And then once you're in the ticketing system, you go ahead and just create a ticket. Make sure you print that ticket out, attach it to the package. My address is also on my website as well. Mail it to me as soon as I get it. Normally takes about, I would say, 24 to 48 hours. I repair the console and I ship it right back to you. Of course, I ship it right back once payment has been received. Other than that, yeah, thank you very much for all of you that actually stand tuned. Once again, don't forget, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button as well as the notification button. That way you get notified every time I actually upload a video. Thank you very much again, and I'll be seeing you on my next video. Thanks, guys and gals. Peace.